Hello, Void. Okay, back on it. Continuing to run down my ever-growing backlog in attempts to finish it all before October. Therefore, I can ring in the next year of Talking to the Void with a fresh slate and a new October marathon. So, still got quite a few to get in the next couple days. So, let's try to get a couple more in. So, Onward. A little outside my usual gruesome horror sci-fi aspects, but I love a good Disney Pixar every once in a while. You may have guessed from my channel, I can watch anything comfortably, and I will. I will review any movie if I get around to watching it. So, if anyone wants me to review anything, please submit. Not that many people watch my videos. I know that. I accept that. That's why I'm talking to the void. I'm not talking to anyone in particular. I'm just talking. Okay, so existentialism out of the way. Onward. Now, this one came out in 2020, and I had an interesting. It has a interesting exposure to its advertisements, since it came out during the essentially right when everything was shutting down here in where I'm broadcasting from. There were at first Onward posters everywhere, particularly on like some of the like dumpster side, trash bin sides and billboards, and well, they never really properly made it to theaters here, despite these advertisements for it. And then these advertisements stopped being replaced because no one was bothering to during the pandemic. So Onward was advertised for over a year here. So I was able to walk by the same advertisements, promising it was going to be in theaters in March. Didn't happen. But I was always curious into it because I play fantasy role-playing games. I'm a big Pathfinder player. I've played many incarnations of D&D. I'm not a 5e player. I've played it. It's okay. I'm more of a Pathfinder guy. Argue about that down there too if you like. Now, that said, seeing a lot of fantasy elements that particularly ones that actually lean into that, since one of the characters in this, Barley, is pretty much obsessed with their version of D&D, and they even work in a gelatinous cube. There's a few fun nods to it, and they actually deliberately credit Wizards of the Coast and Dungeons & Dragons. So, it's a Pixar movie, which means I don't really have to go into the plot much. It's a Pixar movie. Two characters that don't get along are thrust out into a journey where they have to learn to accept each other, and you're probably going to cry. That's 90% of Pixar movies in a nutshell. Toy Story, WALL-E, Up, Inside Out, they all follow the same very basic premise. I think even Good Dinosaur had that one, but I haven't seen that one. So, it is a Pixar movie through and through. In this case, two elven brothers, Ian and Barley, are growing up, and, well, Barley is obsessed with fantasy role-playing, and has a tricked-out 70s style van. And Ian is a social outcast, too shy and awkward to make friends. Now, this is set in a very interesting world where high fantasy was the norm, but, well, magic is hard. Technology is easy. So they started using technology more than magic, and magic kind of faded to obscurity. Well, turns out Ian has got the gift for magic. And, well, their father passed away when they were both very young, right after Ian was born. So, they have a spell to try to bring him back for one day. Well, the spell gets botched, and they just bring back his legs. However, they know they can finish the spell if they just get another gem, so off they go on an epic quest for this gem. With their father's legs in tow. It's a strange movie. Meanwhile, their mother notices they're gone, and, well, begins trying to quest after them. As well as her new boyfriend, a centaur cop, is also after them. And they are joined by a former adventurer turned restaurateur, the Manticore, who used to give out quests. Now she runs a restaurant too. Her Adventure Tavern was kind of downgraded to a family-friendly restaurant. There's a lot going on in this movie, and it's a fun time. I will say I really did enjoy this. There's no real, like, even antagonist throughout it, other than maybe, like, a dragon at the end, but for the most part, it's just two brothers having to deal with each other on a road trip. And it works for that. Pretty much the conflict is just get from here to there and, well, try to accept and understand each other. And I will say there are parts of it I didn't predict, and it's a very sweet movie. It's cute. And I mean that in a complimentary way. I actually really liked a lot of the characters. While I didn't care much for the Centaur cop, their mother, actually, I was invested in her journey. I liked her friendship with the Manticore. And then Ian is voiced by Tom Holland and Barley by Chris Pratt, and they do a pretty good job of this. I mean, just looking at this artwork, I actually would have pictured Barley to be voiced by Jack Black, and probably would have if the movie came out like 5 years before, 5 to 10 years, but Chris Pratt does a great job for it. It's just fun to see how the fantasy elements mesh into with like almost a modern day world, and it's kind of fun to see. I like the feral unicorns that are just getting into the trash like raccoons. It's beautifully animated. And while the plot isn't the strongest, it's everything you've seen in Pixar before. It's still done very well, and you'll miss stuff by the end of it. It's Pixar through and through. I did enjoy Onward. I'll give it 7 MacGuffins. It's not great by any means, but it's very satisfactory. So it's not a low end of good for me. I do recommend seeing it at least once, and I'm glad I picked it up. So I believe that's really all I've got on Up. Not Up. Why am I saying Up? Onward. Up. Directions. Ugh. I haven't referred to it that too many times in this review. I still have to review Up. I have to review a lot of Pixar's. Well, since I've only been reviewing things as I've seen them throughout this, I guess I have a lot of rewatching to do. I'll get to that soon enough, but yes, Onward. Worth it. Good time. Alright. See you guys soon.